Welcome to the Colton Steve Show. This is Bryson Witt from the Ross and Acres Christmas Tree Farm Studio. It's the Colton Steve Show. Glad to be here with you. I'm here alongside my brother Colton Witt, my co-host here for the Colton Steve Show. I'm happy to be with you. He is too. I don't know how he's doing today, but we're about to find out. Colton, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Bryson. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, Colton.
What kind of voice is that?
That is my radio intro voice.
All right, can you stop it now?
Yes, right now.
I don't even have a radio intro voice.
Yes, you do.
Well,
you go
it's
like
the same voice.
Welcome to the cut. See, I
don't do that. Welcome to. I don't do any of that crap. I ain't even gonna do what I do. I feel like I get real loud every time I do it. I don't want to get too loud.
Welcome to the Colton Steve Show. Bryson Witt, Colton Witt.
Yeah. That's something else, Bryce. Well, anyways, Colton Witt here, Colton Steve Show. Happy to be with this episode number. I let Bryson do the intro today.
63.
Yeah, it's number 63. You can quit doing that voice now, Bryson.
63, like former Oakland Raider Gene Upshaw.
Oh, Gene Upshaw.
That's right.
A legend, a good player.
Yeah, he played with the Raiders from 1967 to 1981, his entire career.
Long career.
Yeah, he's in the he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
he was a 6-time Pro Bowler.
6 times.
And he wore the numbers.
That's back when the Pro Bowl actually was a real football game.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if he's dead or just enjoying retirement. But,
man.
He's either in the ground or
not in the ground.
Enjoying retirement.
Yeah, how about that, Bryson? That was very sweet. Well, anyways, folks, don't have a Jacob Fagans.
Very sweet for you to say that.
Yeah, we don't have a Jacob Fagans advice of the week this week, and we feel like, last week was a good show and everything, and we're not doing a show with a guest this week, and we aren't having Jacob Fagans. A lot of you are saying, Colton, how can you not have a guest when you did so good with a guest last week? And I'll tell you, because we really don't care, and we're just here to have a good time, right, Bryson?
Amen, sister.
And that's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, folks. But anyways...
Boy, you look like my name.
Stop it, Bryson. Anyways, just a little preview of today's show. We're going to start out, big thing going on with this Republican debate stuff. Of course, I really wish we could have done a show immediately after the Republican debate on Wednesday, do a show on Thursday, because there was a ton to talk about, and really it's kind of spiraled, I wouldn't say out of control, but a lot of things have folded into place since then, whether it be with the RNC, and then the candidates are ditching the RNC in a sense to decide what goes on with the debates and the networks on their own. There's all kind of crazy stuff going on with that. We're going to get into that. Second story, I always love these just stupid stories. We hadn't really had a real stupid story in a while to do for Interesting News of the Week.
Right.
And this is a study. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans say they have seen a ghost. 1 in 5. Now, we're going to get into this. Let Bryson tell you.
Does fictional ghost count?
No, they're saying real, what they truly believe to be the paranormal.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, think long and hard, Bryson. Then, of course, we'll get into sports. We all know what happened yesterday in the world of sports, and we won't even tease it because you know what happened. We'll get into it when we get to sports. Now, anyways, let's get started.
How do we tease it?
Yeah, because we're doing the preview, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, raise your volume a little bit, Bryson. You're talking to Bryson, what are you doing? Get on track, pal.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, anyways, to start it off, there's a lot of... I'm just going to go through the timeline of what's going on with this debate because there's a lot to touch on about this, and then we'll kind of discuss it and talk about how we feel about how this debate stuff went down. But, of course, first we have, the debate itself on Wednesday night, CNBC. It's a business channel, which really, these guys, it wasn't about business. It wasn't about the economy. It was just... You can tell if you watch it, you knew it was them going after these guys. It was so obvious. I mean, it wasn't even funny. I mean, everybody in their mama could tell that these guys had some sort of animus, some sort of disdain for these people on this stage with the questions they asked, and they would argue over the responses. They'd give a response. They wouldn't even give them the chance to finish the response because they would say, "Well, how about this? How about this? Well, how can you explain that? How about this?" It was ridiculous.
If you're a moderator, you can't ask questions where you implant your own opinion into the question, and then, or in other cases, if the person that you ask the question to says something different that goes against your question, you can't argue with them about the question. They answered the question.
Yeah.
You don't even, like, your job is to not even care what they say about your question.
I'm kind of confused with what you just said, but let's continue.
Probably because it just blew your mind.
Yeah, anyway. But like the questions they were asking, like the opening question, what's your biggest weakness? You know, asking Rubio about all the times he's missed the sentence. And then, of course, Ted Cruz, which, of course, after all that, you know, asking Donald Trump, is this a comic book campaign and all this stuff? And then, you know, Cruz, after all this, he goes, this is why people don't trust the mainstream media. Hit it out of the park. I mean, grilled them. Scored big points. And, Fiorina, she had some good stuff to say. I would say mainly, I mean, we know that there was a lot of bias, and most of it was obviously coming from John Harwood. But really, a lot of points were scored by the responses from Rubio, from Cruz, from Christie, and a lot of them had to do with calling out the moderators, which that's really what scored them points. But anyways, despite all that, they all agreed, every single one of them agreed the debate was unfair. And if you look at it, and then the results come, RNC Chairman Rance Priebus, who's only seems to be there when, eyeballs are on the television. He's only there when it seems like that someone, is there to hear him talk. You never hear anything from this guy unless there's cameras around. And so, I don't know. This guy's a moderate, but he just goes with the wind. I feel like this guy just goes where the wind's blowing. And so everybody's calling out CNBC. What does he do? CNBC, they did terrible. We got to do something about this. We can't get on the bad side of our candidates. They can't turn on their own party. We got to do something. And so Rance Priebus, they go and they yank the debate from NBC News after CNBC. And that's what happened. They did that. And I'll read part of this is from the New York Post. For February 26th, the debate of presidential candidates in the fallout over debate conducted by media partner CNBC this week was criticized by the candidates. The move comes as several campaigns seek to change the format for the remaining debates due to concerns too many candidates are on stage and do not get enough time to speak. But I would say it's probably more due to bias. RNC Chairman Rance Priebus cited bad faith in announcing the party will suspend its partnership with NBC News. They also, the letter to NBC said that the committee wanted to ensure its candidates would be given a full and fair opportunity to lay out their political visions. The party has complained about the handling of the debate on CNBC. And of course, finally that leads, and I know I'm taking a lot of time explaining this whole thing, but then it leads to this whole thing where the Republicans have ditched the RNC and the candidates and decided to go on their own with negotiation debates with these networks. And so they've even put, this is a draft, a second draft of a letter that networks will have to fill out, sort of like a survey. And I got here, this is from Ben Ginsberg. He wrote this with a meeting with 13 of the campaigns after a meeting with all of them. And I'm just going to read you a few highlights these are some of the questions that they ask, okay? And I'm just going to go through some of these. Who's the moderator? Will there be any additional questioners? Are they seated? Will you commit to provide equal time? An equal number of questions of equal quality. Substance as opposed to gotcha or frivolous questions to each candidate. Will there be a gong? Gong, I like that. There ain't any gongs, but a gong, buzzer, bell when time is up. Will you commit that you will not ask the candidates to raise their hands to answer a question? Have a lightning round. Ask yes/no questions without time to provide a substantive answer. Allow candidates to allow candidate-to-candidate questioning. Nobody likes that.
Ask 5 trivia questions.
Have reaction shots of members of the audience or moderators during debates. Oh, that's like World Series or Super Bowl. No. When their team's losing it, hands covering their eyes, something like that.
Of the head.
Yeah. Well, like all the Georgia fans over the weekend. Yeah. And then also, can you pledge that the temperature in the hall will be kept below 67 degrees? I mean, these are there's a lot of good ones in this.
Yeah, Chris Christie was on Fox and Friends this morning.
It wasn't that hot.
Yeah, it wasn't that hot. If I wasn't sweating, it wasn't that hot.
They were nervous.
Like, all right, you just called yourself fat. Oh, but I will add about Ted Cruz. I like Ted Cruz a lot. But I'm hoping that he will get endorsed by Florida Georgia Line.
By Florida Georgia?
So that his campaign song can be, "Baby, you're a song, you make me want to roll my windows down and cruise."
That's awesome, Bryson. That's a great idea, man. Wow, that was really good. You got to pitch that to Florida Georgia Line. Write them a letter or something. That's brilliant. Man, somebody's got to call the Ted Cruz campaign and give them that right there, Bryson. I don't think a lot of your ideas are good, but that was a good idea. But anyways, Bryson, and we spent a lot of time on all this. Really, there's not much to talk about on the next story, but let's move along. What was your initial feeling of this debate? And what you you already hit on that, but just give me a little more what you think.
I felt like Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz both had extremely well performances. Donald Trump, I don't think he hurt himself. He definitely didn't hurt himself. He's been pretty consistent with his debate performances. Not absolutely brilliant, but not absolutely
Everybody
horrible.
Said Trump lost the night, or a lot of the mainstream media people were saying that. And if you watch Trump gave some of the realest answers he's ever given, some of the most fact-filled answers he's ever given, some of the most, they want specifics. He gave specifics, but people still... I don't know what they want from him. They want one thing one day and one thing the next, and they obviously hate the guy, but sort of cover it up all at the same time. Trump's a weird story.
That's what they're going to do until they're going to try.
Yeah,
they're
do a
succeed.
Ton of different
down.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to try to take him out. But anyways, Bryson, what do you think about the changes that are being made to the debate, and what changes you think should be made? Because a lot of people are saying that they should have debates that are off networks, or maybe like pay-per-view or internet, done on a website, and that have some conservative moderators like a Mark Levin or a Rush Limbaugh or a Hannity, or some of these other guys that are obviously conservatives and would ask questions that conservatives would want answers to. Well, I mean, but still, you also want that national exposure, that they get from a lot, these other independents and so forth.
Well, I mean, I think something will be good. I mean, I know it's not that big of a network, and Glenn Beck sometimes can be kind of crazy, but
I can't stand him.
I know, but if you put a debate on that Blaze network, you could bring in Mark Levin, Michael Savage, Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah,
and that would be that'd be a really
speaking of Rush Limbaugh, debate. I was listening to him today, and someone was saying, "We need you on a debate, Rush. You really have to do it. We need it." And he was, and the guy was. This is the first time I'd actually heard somebody actually get Rush to think about it. But then he said, "I would rather do a Democrat debate." He said, "I would rather do a Democrat debate, because if we're going to get these slime balls, these liberals question our candidates, then they should have conservatives questioning their candidates." And really, that is an alternative. I mean, you could have. Well, all right, we'll take the liberals against the asking the conservatives question. Conservatives ask the liberals question. That would be objectivity, fairness on both ends. I mean, now both sides, the voters wouldn't necessarily get the questions that they want, or maybe the answers or the type of discussion that they would want, the ones that were probably voting for the candidates that they're watching. But still, it would be really interesting.
But obviously, you still want to have. But obviously, it'd still be great to have somebody like Rush Limbaugh moderate a Republican debate, because it's good to see someone. It'd be good to see someone who actually exhibits conservative values and principles ask the people that are supposed to be exhibiting those same exact things.
Yeah, I mean, people who are saying they're conservatives, someone who really is a true conservative, a real true conservative, can I think can really expose the people who aren't true conservatives. I think Ted Cruz has done that in this debate, and so I wouldn't say Rubio. He's not near as much conservative as Cruz is, but some of these people like Kasich and Jeb Bush are obviously telling the whole world we're not conservatives, folks. I mean, just by the way they went about